So, yesterday I went to a rally in Kalamazoo for Bernie Sanders, and everyone there was really excited to listen to him. I'm sure eager to go out and vote today on the 8th primaries for us in Michigan. So, there's my little I voted sticker. And initially, we were told that today Hillary Clinton was expected to win this state by some estimates up to about 20 points, 18 to 20. And I fully expected Hillary to win the state, to be honest. So I went to work, and at 10:30 I got out, and I get in my car, and I'm listening to NPR, and I hear Hillary speaking, and I think, oh boy, this is it. This is Hillary Clinton's victory speech. But as it turned out, it was actually, she was talking to people in Cincinnati, Ohio. And then they started talking about Bernie Sanders, and the majority of precincts in Michigan reporting a victory for Bernie Sanders. So that was interesting. And by the time I got home, they had actually predicted a win for Bernie Sanders. And one thing that I found really shocking is on NPR, the radio station I was listening to, after they get done talking about Bernie Sanders, after they get done talking about his historic upset of Hillary Clinton, who was leading by 20 points in Michigan, Bernie Sanders beat her. He came out on top. He came out leading in Michigan. And they have the audacity to say, most Democrats are willing to accept the inevitability of Clinton. The inevitability of Clinton. The race isn't over. Bernie Sanders just won Michigan. Michigan's a decent state. When it comes to the presidential election, we get quite a few electoral votes. And Bernie Sanders won here, just like he won in Kansas. Hillary was expected to win in Kansas. Bernie Sanders won in Kansas. When they were talking, I noticed stark differences between them. Hillary Clinton talked about how we are a great country and Americans are the hardest working people. And we're the best at innovating. We're just the best at everything. We are exceptional. Which is something I hear the Republicans say a lot, that we are exceptional. That's why we can get away with torture and waterboarding. Well, I didn't hear Bernie Sanders say anything like that. Bernie Sanders talks about policy. Bernie Sanders talks about the rigged economy. Bernie Sanders talks about getting money out of politics, campaign finance reform. He talks about regulating Wall Street. He talks about regulating businesses, regulating industry, regulating the pharmaceutical companies that charge ridiculous amounts of money for their medicine. When I went to the rally, he talked about a wide range of issues. He talked about how we have to end profiling against minorities by police. Police have to stop arresting people because they're a minority. Look up statistics on crime. Drug crime, for example. White people and black people, for instance, use drugs around the same percentage, but drug arrests are a lot higher for African American people than they are for white people. Because of profiling. The war on drugs, which escalated, has a lot to do with Clinton, has resulted in unfair profiling, resulted in mass incarcerations, which of course Bernie Sanders talked about, and that's something he's against. One thing that's very important to me personally is the environment. When they asked the candidates about fracking at the debate in Flint, Hillary Clinton said that it's mostly proven safe, and under certain circumstances, if it's controlled and regulated and whatnot, it's perfectly safe. It's fine. And Bernie Sanders' reaction was great. He looked like, "Did you hear that? We're in Flint." And she's saying something that could potentially poison the water's fine. They asked Bernie Sanders what his stance on fracking was, and he says, "It's different than Hillary's. It's quite simple. No." Which I like quite a lot. I don't like fracking. I don't want fracking. No one wants fracking near where they live. The people who profit the most off fracking don't want it in the areas where they live. Why is that? It's because it pollutes the water, it pollutes the groundwater, it causes earthquakes. An issue that was supposed to be very important here in Michigan, and I believe was very important in Michigan, was trade. NAFTA was a very big trade deal here in Michigan, or not just Michigan, but it affected Michigan. And of course, the Clintons are very, very related to that issue. It was when Bill Clinton was president that NAFTA was signed. And a lot of people here in Michigan feel that they were affected by NAFTA, that their jobs were lost because of NAFTA. NAFTA sent jobs from Michigan to places like Mexico overseas. And my family was personally affected by it, my father. And a lot of people in Michigan are not very fond of NAFTA at all. And during the Flint debate, she actually brought up the TARP deal, and she used it to attack Sanders. She said that Bernie Sanders did not support the auto industry because when the TARP bill came up, he did not vote in favor of it. She did vote in favor of it. Well, the reason why he didn't vote in favor of it was because most of the money would go to Wall Street. 4% of the budget was allotted for the auto industry. The rest of it was a bailout for Wall Street. So, of course, he didn't vote for it. There was a separate bill that was just for the auto industry. He did vote in favor of that. Well, it's a really great night tonight. We are very excited here in Michigan as supporters of Bernie Sanders. A final thing, we voted here. It's not the end of the campaign by far. There's still a lot of states to go. And for those of us who have voted for the states that have voted, and for anybody in the country, anybody who wants to, anybody can donate to Bernie Sanders' campaign. As he says, the average donation is $27. The money that he's amassed for the campaign, which is far less than what other people are working with, has all been donated for individual contributions from normal people like you and me. And now that I voted for him, now that my state's gone to him, I'm very excited to see what he can do in other states. I'm definitely thinking about making a contribution soon. So, if you're a supporter, you can donate. I hope when he gets to your state, unless he's been in your state already, that you'll go and show your support. And good night. Time to celebrate.